of a series to watch.
Volskaya Industries could be the beginning of something beautiful for Team Gigantti. Or of course, their final resting place for Contenders Season 2. So wait and find out, as Gigantti are going to jump onto the defense first, and we already spoke about them using Pharah, where Eagle Gaming are opting to completely ignore that. Eagle Gaming might be going for the grand debate here and not roll out a tank-based composition. We just don't know. Eagle Gaming, they've elevated their performance from previous weeks, and I think anything's on the cards for them right now.
Eagle only run dive on a few select maps, or even on select positions on maps, and Volskaya, as we have seen repeatedly in the last 3 weeks, is the map they choose to do that. And it's like we said when we first saw it, you cannot write them off and say, well, they don't really play dive, because they showed us that they can play dive and they can play it incredibly well. And circling back to the point earlier on about Super Pluke on the Reinhardt, the big question mark for me still stands over his Winston play. And yes, we've seen him contribute well to this dive-based team. Kind of need to see it a little bit more to really make a final judgment on that. But as things stand, their dive, is very scary. Gigantti, everything rides on Davin, keeping them at bay here with some opening picks.
So it's going to be dive as the name of the game for Eagle Gaming. Taking it slow so far, not forcing through that choke too early. Team Gigantti
found him.
Need to find something to do. They're dancing around the dump truck, but will not go uncontested. His shadows off to the side, peppering rockets from above. Eagle Gaming looking to take some cover inside of terrain, but they still need to get around this first movement. You can see Leaf off to the side, looking for that flank behind, as he already takes out Cloudy, and Nico's going to take out Ripper as well. 2 huge picks already denied for Team Gigantti on this defense, as Leaf is looking for more. Will miss the dash, comes back from the brink of death, but it doesn't matter because Nico's going to finish off Davin regardless. Clean white for Eagle Gaming, moving into this third and potentially final map.
How have teams not figured this out yet? This is their strategy every single week. We see them play on Volskaya. They get the DPS flanking off round to the right-hand side. They find a member they want to pick up, using the intel from the rest of the team. They dive in, kill them, and it all goes from there. In this case, they didn't find just one. They found the main tank as well. It wasn't just the support they managed to drop. And that just makes it so worrying, because Eagle, look at their ults. They could potentially have 5 ultimates online here for one big final push to end this out here and now.
And the only people who are close to matching them are the Valkyrie from Marsa and RCK. If he doesn't go down, he could also work towards that self-destruct, but they've already corralled Team Gigantti into the corner, and the ultimates are starting to come online for Eagle Gaming. Here past that Transcendence, if things start to go south, Leaf's going to use the Dragon Blade immediately. He was spamming the Q, and now he's going to knock down Ripper as he moves back to the point of the Transcendence. They're sending Cloudy to reinforce Davin on this point. The spawn advantage will help out Gigantti, but they haven't got many kills to their name. I don't think I've seen anyone from Eagle Gaming actually die yet, as the Transcendence will come out from Reaper to hopefully keep more of the same for Team Gigantti. While they're going to be able to hold this one back, I think they might not be able to get it on this push, because Cloudy's going to pop the Primal Rage. So much commitment from Team Gigantti to not give it up just yet. They will get that first tick, but not much else on this push, Des.
Unfortunately, they couldn't just quite make it back to the wall, but yes, they do manage to push them back. But what a big push from Eagle Gaming, getting 5 members and managing to take at least the first third on that point. Gigantti, a moment to breathe now, and kind of regather their thoughts and go, right, we are definitely dealing with dive coming out of Eagle Gaming. Let's make sure we've got the answer. And their answer, apparently, is Nico switching over from that Tracer onto the Brigitte.
Putting all their damage hopes onto Leaf, who's been performing pretty well so far this series. Did get the 1K of his Dragon Blade. We want to see more highlight reel opportunities when you do that. And we typically associate Genji with Nico on this roster. And Leaf's also played a bit of Brigitte himself. So I think an ult charge might be the determining factor in their decision to move things this way around. Super Luke's going to dash away. Pulse Bomb does get thrown on to get amazed, and it's Nico who feels the burn of that one as he'll be taken down. Davin again follows up onto hit. Gigantti have woken up on this map, and now they're starting to fight Eagle Gaming back.
Definitely starting to make things work for them, and definitely playing on this dive with Shadow getting those initial stuns does mean the rest of the team can collapse in and bring down a key target. On the first point, they were a little bit too defensive. They were waiting to see what Eagle were going to do, and by the time they realized, they'd lost 2 members incredibly quickly. So now for Eagle, they're looking to walk towards Leaf once again. There is a Transcendence not too far away for Ripper, but they've got to ride on that coming up before Leaf pulls out this blade.
Still needs to climb another 12%, make that 10%, as he's probably firing out orbs and healing up his team. Leaf's going to pull the trigger, and he gets it just in time. You're absolutely right. Stunned up as Leaf is going to walk away, limping from the injuries of battle, as Shadow shoots an arrow to make sure he's going to fall down as well. Get amazed, navigating himself around the point, trying to escape with his life. Has got the healing from Lilbo to make it happen. Another push from Team Gigantti. They're going to set back Eagle Gaming.
This is going to feel like a similar story, and again, we said yesterday, we're not pinning this down to get amazed, but being swapped out for Hardest, one of their big star players, has always been a question mark that we've had over Eagle Gaming. When he's the guy that we always talk about, Is it worth changing him out because you feel you've got a better comp set up on this map? Coach Feifei of Eagle Gaming himself said, well, we like our stable roster. We will try and play with the same 6 players wherever we can, but there might be 1 or 2 maps where we switch things out.
There's plenty of time in the time bank, but Eagle Gaming are going to put Leaf onto Doomfist. It's unusual. We know he plays it a lot, but I think this is the first time we've seen it so early into a series. It's Cloudy, the first person to be taken out by an uppercut to the chin of the 8. Master's going to bring Ripper back. That does mean Cloudy's left in the spawn room and respawn time, and Shatter was wishing he could get back there, but he just can't. It's going to take him a little bit longer, as we're going to see Ripper off to the side again. Super Fluke again on this Winston, cutting off all resources from Team Gigantti as Leafs in the middle of the party. He's going to charge with that rocket punch, looking for Cloudy again. Will miss it. Super Fluke is still causing chaos on the back line. Leafs lost his mech. Shadow will finally bring Doomfist down and hopefully get control for Team Gigantti, but Super Fluke's going at it again as he goes towards RCK. Gitamaze is up on the roof, denying shots and causing damage onto the back line of Eagle Gaming. Hip is on the backside, moving away from the spawn room as Team Gigantti are trying to clear them out yet again, and Shadow picks up a double onto the supports, and Cloudy's going to shut them down. Eagle Gaming having a lot of their time bank burned on this point B.
We've actually seen a few coaches say recently that it's very hard to appreciate main supports, but a bit of an appreciating shout out there as well to Masara. In the middle of all of that, every single time we saw the focus change onto another one of his DPS in the backline, or even his co-support in Ripper, his healing changed immediately over to them. He kept himself sane and alive the whole time. No one went down because of him in that fight, otherwise that could have gone very differently for Eagle Gaming. They're rolling out though with the triple tank.
Team Gigantti spotted that and they're going to move on to the Farah. RCK taking out those duties, self-destruct over the top. Darwin already taking out Super Fluke. Will find Shatter, so they're trading a tank for a DPS as RTCK is moving forward. Leaf does find Darwin with the hook as Gitamaze is grounded onto the floor. Takes out Ripper, long-range shot, moving on to RCK. He's got nowhere to run, but he's got healing coming in, keeping him alive. Masa, the saving grace, but the rest of the ground war is being lost by Team Gigantti. They need their reinforcements to come out of that spawn room fast because they're on the brink of losing it all. RCK with the barrage will take out Leaf and Nico, but Gitamaze will shut him down. Eagle Gaming are in control, but they're fighting against the respawns.
Gigantti just fighting their way back in here, and once again it turns out tanks was the answer for Eagle Gaming, but they're still got to get rid of this spawn advantage coming through. That transcendence coming out there from Ripper should be more than enough for Gigantti to be able to hold this point, at least for now.
2/3 guaranteed for Eagle Gaming. 89% is what they achieved. So close to victory already. Gonna stick with these tank compositions, and I think Team Gigantti gonna rely on Hanzo and Farah as well, because it appears to be working out for them despite some shaky moments. And RCK's already building towards that ult, needs that barrage back up. He plays Diva, he knows how to eat these barrages, so he knows what will make it difficult for Gitamaze to do the same.
Try and force the way around to the left here. Gitamaze eating a lot of rockets there. It's going to be a bit of ult charge to get the healers back up to their ult charges being online. Hip and Lilbo have got that sound barrier. That's the key one for them. Gitamaze will be looking for a big self-destruct.
Davin pulling the Riptire, going to the side, takes out Nico. RKCK's already taken out Super Blue, and he's still got the barrage in his pocket. We've entered sub 1 minute territory. Eagle Gaming notice are in full retreat. If RCK can get a pick, he's got a D-Mech and a kill onto Gitamaze, and he takes out Leaf as well. He's stagnating them even further, and then forcing out one final push from Eagle Gaming.
This is where the concern comes in for Eagle, is that playing dive, they are not able to shut down Team Gigantti. If you're stuck playing only tanks, teams will be able to take advantage of that, and you've got to consider those live finals coming up. They're going to mix things up one more time. Nico being put across to that Genji that we love so much. Leaf going to pick up the Widowmaker. They're going for the dive.
Interesting decision to shape it up, but they got 10 seconds remaining, so they need to touch force the overtime and hope for the best, but they need to get on RCK. That's Leaf's responsibility. RCK very mindful of that, holding off to the side. Ripper's already taken out Nico, and now will move even more into an aggressive position as he's on top of Hip, throws the barrage immediately straight down. Leaf will take him out, but it's too little too late. There's already used the resurrection on Nico to bring him back into the fight, so RCK will take out Hip and make that permanent as Gitamaze moving on to Winston. Cloudy already taken out his mirror opponent on Super Blue, because Hip's going to change to Lucio to get back faster. Davin dancing away from Leaf, dips and dives and weaves away from that shot as they're moving back onto the point. Team Gigantti have done it in a dominant fashion. They shut down all pushes on point B and will end Eagle Gaming's campaign on Volskaya here.
Feels like we may well end up going to that 4th map here based on that defense out of Gigantti, but we already made this mistake on Kings Row, writing them off before it was all said and done. 89.7% is what Eagle Gaming walk away with on the 2nd point. Gigantti are now the ones who've got to stroll through.
They're going to do it, aren't they?
You think?
No, they can't do it. They can't waste that much time using their trash can strategy. Obviously, we're
Oh god, yeah.
we're referring to using Orisa, Reinhardt shield, take control of a tight area, and rely on getting the supercharger to win out the fight. We're always critiquing them for it, and it does work, but it just burns so much time to do so. And when Eagle Gaming took point A that quickly, I don't know if you want to risk that time back on point B.
Nah, don't think so.
Nah.
If Shadow goes to that final change onto Orisa, I'll be very surprised. But for Eagle, on their defense, rolling out with a comp that we're probably now a bit more familiar with. We saw Angry Titans rolling with this the other day. Of course, Soldier getting that change now where his minimal damage drop-off is no longer 30%, it's now 50%, which means that when someone's further away, he's still doing a bit more damage than what he used to. Although it's only 20%, it actually translates into quite a lot more damage. It's something you have to be very, very wary of. In real terms, it's more than a 50% increase. Problem there is when you're spraying away from long range, they want to dive on you. They want to shut you down and stop you doing what you're doing. Problem then is you're faced with someone with a huge fist ready to go straight towards your face in the form of Doomfist. So you're stuck in kind of a catch-22 situation. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
It was vulnerable to attack, very oppressive defense, but there were ways to break it out. And Team Gigantti, if Eagle Gaming aren't the only team to be running this, will probably have come across this in scrims and would have something in mind to break it. Or maybe they just conceded the fact that they're not going to be able to do it. Team Gigantti changing it up again last minute, looking for an option on this one. We see RCK hovering the Orisa, changing it over to the Tridd. Diva. It's fine, they're not going to run it.
Still your beating heart.
3, 2, 1 composition, triple tank obviously for Team Gigantti, running into, well, we don't know what to call this composition yet, but it's Soldier, Doomfist on the defense.
Yeah, very much a standard kind of variation we're seeing in this patch of the 3-3 comp, bringing the Sombra in because that EMP can be huge for you being able to run through a fight and win it out. Trying to cut something from the back here though, great claps coming out of Leaf.
RCK already taking out Superfluke. Nico on the back line with the Helix Rockets, takes out Darwin, but they've already lost 2 on the side of Eagle Gaming. Lilbo going to rectify that with a resurrection onto hip. Ripper finally shutting down Liv. And they're on the point. Team Gigantti going to be playing around this shelter to protect their backline. Cloudy moving too far forward, and Nico up high will be able to get a kill. Coalescence burns through the mech for Master to then finish off. Gigantti is still making this work, but the reinforcements of Eagle Gaming are coming in. They get onto the point. The healing is there. Nico's going to have the attack visor. He won't have to pop it just yet, and he won't have the opportunity to. EMP comes up, but he's going to spray down Shatter, and Eagle Gaming are taking over this point. They're not going to be rolled over to kick things off on Volskaya.
Don't hate me, chat, but that was a really poor EMP out of Shadow there. Dropping out at the end, maybe because he wanted to change away like he's done now, could have been the viable reason for it. But dropping it out when you have 1 or 2 members still left on the point, that could have been their big fight win if they choose to bring this out again next time round, and they weren't too far away from winning on their first push. But now that Nico's got his ult online, Leaf is the same, they should be able to hold this.
3-3 in the streets, quad tank in the sheets of snow on Volskaya. Saved it there, wasn't going to be too naughty, as Leaf's going to be pulled into a naughty bit of damage from LH Cloudy. He's going to take him off the map and move around with the quad tank composition. Leaf going down with the meteor strike as well, could be impactful, but they have a lot of volunteers in their bag. Tack fires it from long range for Nico. As he sprays down RCK, protective barrier will stop him from going down, but they're cowering in fear in this little hut, and Eagle Gaming is starting to swarm around them. Sound barrier as they look to emerge back out onto the point and continue their progress on point A. They're going to be stunned up, Davin's forced back in. They're going to jump out Shatter, taking out Nico. That's what he picked the Roadhog for, as the meteor strike will take out Ripper, and Lilbo will bring him back into the fight. Ginamate's turned it around on the LX Cloud. It was looking shaky for Eagle Gaming's defense, but they pull it back again with 1 minute 45 on the clock.
Gigantti are panicking now because they're not sure which target to focus when they come out of this hut. They look to one side, there is Leaf there, he suddenly disappears. You've got to worry about the Diva, who descends very momentarily and then once again reascends. They just don't know which way to look or which target to bring down first in their kind of defense when it comes out. Eagle Gaming, they're actually doing it, Tridd. 1 minute and 20 left, and they have Gigantti on the ropes. We maybe get 2 more attacks out of this.
Quad Tank's a different beast when you get ultimates online, Des. They've got the self-destruct, they're about to get a Graviton Surge, and, well, we know what Team Gigantti could do with that under the right circumstances. Nico still peppering damage from the back line. Ginamate's pulled into the composition, but will get back out. This is Season 1 Quad Tank in effect for Team Gigantti. They're looking to emerge back onto the point. There's the Graviton Surge, pulls them on the outside. Self-destruct out there. They're going to have to take cover. If they're going to pop down, they block the damage with the Transcendence, but RCK will still find Leaf. Shatter from Cloudy, knocks down the other tank. Tack fires on the back line, looking to spray through whoever they can. Dodges out the hook, but there's no targets available because they're either in cover or behind the shield. Lilbo brings Superfluke back. He's going to jump down onto the floor as Master gets a D-Mech onto Get Amazed, and the tracking from Davin will help him spray down targets. Team Gigantti managed to get control at this point, but they've only got 35 seconds to play with before they get that 4-minute bonus.
Beautiful little boot coming out of Masar there as well, getting the soldier off the high ground because he was so problematic up there. Nico doing absolute work. Eagle with a very, very interesting defense that lasts 3.5 minutes. Very, very good against a team like Gigantti. Now they've got to try and steamroll through. Quad Tank does what Quad Tank does best. It takes ground and it refuses to be moved.
And Master is taking names as usual. Super Flukes to be more precise. Shadow follows up with a kill onto Hip. Getame sending the self-destruct up. They have to run for cover behind the shield. No one going to go down to it as Leaf jumps onto the back line. RCK is finding multiple kills for himself. Stunned up by the Roadhog. Self-destruct comes out as well. Team Gigantti have 6 men on the point, and the stall is out for Eagle Gaming. It's not looking good for them though. Couple more percent should do the trick for the spawn advantage. They're trying to fight through the damage that Team Gigantti can output. They're unable to do so. Dez, the comeback is real for Team Gigantti. They're not ready to give this up yet.
It wasn't the fact that it was a comeback that is worrying. It's the fact it was playing an Eagle special of Quad Tank. I never would have envisioned a team playing Quad Tank into Eagle because they weren't able to beat them in other ways, but we're going back to Season 1, boys. It's working. Quad Tank makes things work for them, and clearly that was the solution they needed. Going into the 4th map, Gigantti at least now can get a bit more momentum going. They know they can win this back out. The question is, can they do it for another 2 maps back-to-back? Let's not forget, they're in permanent match point from here on out. Eagle have only got to win 1 map, and they're the ones going to the grand final.
Of course, once they get that additional map win on map 4, if they're able to do so, Eagle are in the same boat. They're then at match point. It comes down to a 5th and final map. Let's hope for that outcome, but of course, we're going to go to a quick break before we bring you map number 4. Premium Revenge no longer on the cards for Eagle Gaming, but they can settle for economy as long as they win this series against Eagle Gaming. It's currently 2-1 scoreline in favor of the French roster. Team Gigantti, of course, winning Volsky to keep them alive in this series.
I have no idea what you said at the very start of that, but it sounded good and it ended well.
It's typically how this goes with us, though, isn't it?
Whenever you open your mouth, I'm half time, I'm not sure what's coming out of it. But so there's been some good stuff today, man. Don't worry. We're going into Rialto, though, for this final map. This is a rematch and a half, because last time I recall these two guys playing on this map, back at the end of Season 1, it was a right clown fiesta around that first point.
You mean end of Season 2 group stage?
They didn't play in Season 2 group stage.
Yes, they
it was
did.
Season 1. They had that crazy clash when they were both on first point. Don't you remember?
In Season 2.
In
on
Season
group
1.
stage Rialto, which we only released in Season 2.
I swear it was into Season 1.
Oh, Des, trust me. Look, you're making out some great stuff as well. I listen to you and I catch your mistakes. So
see,
that's the problem.
if I mess up half the time and you mess up half, then technically we have a coherent cast the whole way through. Just depends who's speaking.
One way around, but let's focus on the game because it is match point still for Eagle Gaming. As they're moving on and potentially winning that third and final map on Rialto. Last time these two teams faced off in the group stage, they of course played on Rialto, and it left to one of the most intense point A chokes that we just passed through there. No team willing to give it up. That map unfortunately didn't go in favor of Eagle Gaming, but it was sure as hell close.
We see a lot of clashes coming through around that point as well. Every single team seems to get stuck there. And I just thought, how fantastic is this as a place to go flying around as Wrecking Ball? You've got so much space. It's like a hamster in a cage.
Well, he's going to be spinning round. I don't think we're going to see him being played, but we're going to see what happens when Team Gigantti take their defense. We can focus on that composition a little bit more, as we know that's probably what they're going to roll with, taking Shadow on the Farah again. They're expecting something tanky coming out from Eagle Gaming.
Rolling themselves with that triple tank. And of course the healers, the Mercy coming out here just to give some pocket over to Shadow. We've seen some interesting full holds come out here on this first point from some teams. I think it was Eagle Gaming yesterday who managed to make it work for so long with the quad tank, running the time down by a good 2.5 minutes.
Already receiving some hurt from above, the Farah raining down those rockets. Eagle Gaming going to be moving closer and closer to that courtyard. Team Gigantti not planted their feet in the ground just yet, willing to spray them down with damage, move the line at which they attack. But I think this corner is what LH Cloudy wants to hold. A Shadow opened up things with a kill onto Lilbo.
Again, it's always that question for Gigantti because their usual anti-die or anti-3-3 comp that we see coming out in the form of Hanzo and Farah has been nerfed somewhat. Not enough that you don't see Hanzo getting picked up, but he isn't so hot at treading down tanks anymore thanks to the cooldown increase on the Storm Arrows. Still, Farah does a lot of work, especially in these tight enclosed spaces, which is what you see a lot of, at least in the first stages of Rialto.
Really Shadow going back onto the ground. Hip is by himself, but he needs to help out his front line as they're starting to fall over. Marsa being taken out by Nico. Superflu's going to follow up by taking out Cloudy. And with no backline to support, the front line Team Gigantti are going to fold in on themselves. Eagle Gaming pushing to that first checkpoint. It might be a little bit of deja vu, Des.
And let's not forget yesterday, it was this match where it all ended for Eagle Gaming. They had that crazy hook come out of Leap at the very end to block the ultimate coming out of Castle, which ultimately won it for them. They'll be familiar with these fields, but right now it's Gigantti coming back on the push through.
Hardest in panic threw out that Graviton Surge, and even though it wasn't facing RCK, it was still eaten, unable to make it work for Eagle Gaming, and Team Gigantti came out on the offensive to shut them down.
And this is where the scary part comes in again. This first point hold that we saw from these two guys at the very start of the season, like you mentioned, that's when it can get very, very hairy. Small things can affect these fights, and the pressure is on for both teams when you know what's at stake on the line here. A place in the finals at the World Cup group stage in Paris. That's a dream for any team.
Absolutely, and it's definitely a dream for Eagle Gaming. So Surge holding them all together, Shatter off to the side. It's a mixed bag for Eagle Gaming. They're looking to move forward, but RCK will get a D-Mech from Nico. Hardest going to follow up onto Shatter. Davin moving forward. Hardest with another kill onto LH Cloudy as RCK trying to equalize. Hardest again with a D-Mech and a kill of his own. This guy's a running riot on the Zarya. 1 minute 40 remaining. They just have to walk it in for point A.
Overwatch League, if you are watching, this is the guy you need to have on your list of players to check out during the off-season because he is an absolute machine time and time again. We've said it at least 3 times this series. They've said it on the desk. We said it yesterday. We said it during the groups.
We say a lot of things.
Storming through. Absolutely. But again, every single player on this team, can you really look at any player on Eagle Gaming and go, maybe you could improve there or you change that off? Because to be honest with you, looking at them and the way they fit into these tank-based comps they play, every single member has the perfect position.
We're in a position to finish this map. 3 minutes 30 and then gain an additional 1 minute 30 if they hit point B. Just need to do that. They're pulling out a Graviton Surge to try and make it happen. Go around the side of the shield, charge it out. Self-destruct is there. Can only block so much damage. And a mistone from Davin means the protective barrier will not keep them alive from Nico's self-destruct. The train of Eagle Gaming will not end and will not be stopped yet.
Managed to start trying their very best here to stall out the Zen as well, but not quite the case. Does manage to walk away and get back into his team. They've got 3 minutes on the clock to play with, and they're approaching the second point. That'll be one hell of a time bank if they start getting back in, but Ripper is going to slow it down at least a little bit by taking away Hip.
Hip being off the field, they're obviously missing themselves a crucial member. So close to that Transcendence as well. He'll come back from the spawn room, maybe delayed in buying it. Look at the ults Gigantti has to counter against this. Earth Shatter, Transcendence of their own. They have all defensive ultimates and a big slam from LH Cloudy to make things happen. But Superfluke I think he's been slightly more consistent with his Earth Shatters this series, so I fear it in his hands more than I do in Cloudy's. They're going to push forward, rally, amp it up. Huge shatter from Superfluke. Cloudy is denied an opportunity to even show us what he's got. The Transcendence coming out a little bit too late for Ripper to be able to help him out, but there's no avoidable kills until Hardest drops the Graviton Surge. Hip, Hardest again taking out the backline. Leaf going to take out Davin. They're so close to getting point B, Des, and they've done exactly what they needed to do to make it happen. 3 minutes 40 moving on to the home stretch for Eagle Gaming.
The best thing is they started off that whole fight with just an Earth Shatter to their name. Superfluke is already back on towards getting another one. They're pushing them all the way back into spawn here, Tridd. Just trying to stop them getting out the gates, then get that payload moving. Some teams have been punished by this before, where they do push a bit too hard. They only leave one member on the point, and it never really gets moving too fast towards the point. Of course, it does move a lot quicker when you have more members on the payload, so there's no reason why you wouldn't do so. But if you can at least keep Gigantti at bay for a bit longer, get some free ult charge, why the hell not?
Can't stop, won't stop for Eagle Gaming. So they're moving around that first turn in the final phase of this map, and outside the Cathedral seems to be where there's often trouble stopping this payload. Earth Shatter available for Superfluke. They've got that Graviton Surge going to be used by Davin. Self-destruct goes up, Gigantti Bomb for the saving grace. The charge comes out. It's only Superfluke who falls victim to it. But I think we know the importance of taking out a Reinhardt early. Team Gigantti should be able to shut down the momentum from Eagle Gaming.
So I've been saying all series long, and it's no big surprise when all the teams seem to be playing as tanks for the most part. Is bringing down that main tank, just open up the rest of the team for you to be able to pull through. Nico being stalled out a little bit here, running towards the arms of his team like, no, please guys, save me. It's like a scene from Game of Thrones, but he does get put down at the end. They will have to wait at least a little bit longer.
I don't think he's moving towards the sweet embrace of his team. He was moving towards the sweet embrace of Poseidon as he was hoping to jump into the sea and be enveloped in, well, drowning. That's what he's going to be enveloped in.
Drowning,
yes. the prime example of how you give it to yourself in Overwatch. He's going to be back on the map very shortly. Graviton Surge already being used by Eagle Gaming, sitting in a Transcendent. Shatter is going to be whiffed by Superfluke. Will knock down RCK, but a sound barrier reinvigorates Eagle Gaming and Team Gigantti back into the fight until Hardest get the upper hand by taking out Cloudy as he moves on to another target. Looking for Master, but he's too slippery. He gets away. The rest of his team, however, they don't have the mobility that the Frog does, and they're going to wipe out Team Gigantti, move this payload onto the final stretch.
Consistently winning out these tank fights and still got some ults left in the tank. They've got that Transcendence for the push. They've got the self-destruct. If they manage to complete here, Gigantti have got one hell of a mountain to ascend if they want to try and keep themselves in this and take it to a 5th map. It's not looking good for them, Tridd.
1 minute 30 and a handful of meters separate Eagle Gaming from a potential World Cup stage final. Self-destruct comes down. Hardest already going to take out Cloudy despite him using his shatter. There was no follow-up from Gigantti to make it work. RCK being tracked as Leaf takes out a double kill for Shatter. Davin, Hardest again onto Master. He's got a Graviton Surge, pulls them all together. They're just going to swing this damage away. Shatter comes out to seal the deal. Self-destruct from RCK, only to buy them time as Cloudy charges in to be immediately dismantled by Hip. That's completion for Eagle Gaming. Now it's time for Team Gigantti to match them.
Got a match or best at the very least, and it's not going to be an easy task as well. Gigantti, they are literally on the ropes here. They have to complete to be able to stay in with a chance and take this through to a 5th map. But consistently, every single time, Eagle just know how to orchestrate these fights. You just see the way they chain the ults together, the way the sequence of events tends to flow. Hardest, again, always with these incredible Graviton Surges, getting them up so quickly in these fights. It's the big crucial moment, and to be honest, Davin was one of those players we spoke about last season. Gigantti said he is very much so the pinnacle of our team. He pulls everyone together. We all revolve around him. He sets up the plays. We just finish them off, and it's as simple as that. Biggest problem here is when that central pillar of your team is suppressed or in some cases surpassed by the enemy Zarya. What do you do?
Not much you can do, because if you're relying on alt combinations and Graviton Surges, if, say for example, we spread it out across the series of a match, if Hardest can pump out, I don't know, 5 Graviton Surges and Davin can only match 3. That's 2 missed opportunities.
Hardest is like 5. Those are rookie numbers. He knows he can deliver way more than that in a single match. We'll be surprised if at some point we don't see him drop 2 in a fight. Although, to be honest, whenever he uses the Grav Surge, the fights end pretty quick, not long after.
Absolutely, and now they're on the defensive side. They're going to have Team Gigantti running at them, and I think it opens up a wider field of view for you to look at your options for protective barrier to build not only ult charge, but energy on the Zarya, which is going to be a big determinant on how quickly you can get those Graviton Surges.
It's a real heartbreak as well, because Gigantti have been regarded as one of the stronger teams in Group B. They've been regarded as the team that have got excellent tank play, but they are being surpassed by Eagle, the team who they managed to beat earlier on this season. And what we've seen from them today hasn't really been a sign of confidence of, okay, we know how to deal with tank-based comps, we can mix things up. Let's not forget, Gigantti are regarded as one of the strongest teams in Europe, but even they are being forced to play to Eagle's tune.
They're coming out the high ground swinging. Eagle Gaming want to do this stall tactic again, but Superfluke's already been booped off to take a dip, as Davin will follow up on with a kill onto Lilibel. So no repeat pattern than what we saw yesterday. Eagle Gaming unable to pull this trick twice against Gigantti.
They can damn well try, and they'll at least be able to stall it out for about 30 seconds or so and get back in time to be able to contest the courtyard. That's why you see some teams go for this. Others prefer to hold a bit further back, like we saw yesterday out of a couple of teams on the high ground with things like Bastion. Just means they can at least be able to contest this very important first point. And again, we spoke about the huge clash between these two teams. Neither team managing to get it anywhere over that second bridge. It was all just about the fights around the first point, in which case Gigantti did pull ahead ever so slightly. 2
minutes burnt yesterday, 30 seconds today. Speaking of being burned, it's Cloudy being bopped around, and someone get that man a fire extinguisher because he's about to be burnt to cinder as Nico's going to come in and be the person to end it all. So, Graviton Surge pulling in Davin. He's got one of those already, and Davin can't match him. Eagle Gaming cutting the momentum off of Team Gigantti before they can even get to the courtyard.
Building that faster than Davin and building it ahead of the Transcendence coming out of Ripper, and that's the hardest way things seem to go. They're holding them back here, and again, only a minute and a half gone, so Gigantti has still got time if they want to mix things up or try and make this work. The biggest frustration for me is knowing that time and time again in this series, they have lost this 3-3 tank comp, and they're expecting something to change.
And try and clash at them again. 2 minutes 30, so still plenty of time to work with. Earth Shatter comes down, it's blocked out. Transcendence comes in a second too late for Shatter to stay alive as Superfluke holding the corner. He's got an Earth Shatter. RCK moves too far forward to be done with as he will get demeched by Nico. The choke point is real for Eagle Gaming, and they will not allow Team Gigantti to break around that corner as they're chasing Davin back to the spawn room. One more right click to do the trick. Oh, he gets into the spawn barrier. But the fact we're able to jest about them running back to the spawn room at this point, Des, is not a good sign for Team Gigantti.
They've still got all these ultimates online to play with. It's actually Gigantti at the deficiency here in terms of ultimates, and given how the normal 3-3 fights go, well, I know which way I fancy the next couple going. That leaves us with about a minute left to play with. That's a very worrying sign for Gigantti.
Hardest again being pulled together. Earthshatter won't follow up onto it as Cloudy's going to shut down Superfluke. And with no Reinhardt shield, the Gigantti bomb is even easier, but they don't even give him enough time for RCK to get the kills as Cloudy and Davin and Sharek are going to run through them already. Team kill, and there's still opportunity for Eagle Gaming to stall this.
Very weird fight from Eagle because they had the Earthshatter, they had the Graviton down, everything was going their way. And they managed to secure no kills. Gigantti stayed healthy because of Masar's sound barrier. All it took them was for Davin to fire out his own Graviton Surge, and it was an easy win from there. Now comes that big fight around this first point archway.
Big shatter from Cloudy, follows up with Transcendence. His charge is coming into play. No one dropping down yet as the sound barrier comes in. There's the self-destruct on the middle of the payload. Nico's still going to find Cloudy in the chaos. They've lost the Reinhardt. They should lose the fight. Hardest is going to make sure of that by taking out Master, and Superpoop follows up again. Des, this is reminiscent of their group stage match. Look where the point is being stalled for what could be a final engagement from Gigantti.
And no ultimates then to play with, no ultimates on the other side, but we know exactly how proficient both teams are at building these up in these crucial moments. Hardest is the closest though, that's the one I'm looking at right now. If that grab surge comes online, they can stall Gigantti away. Well, their run for finals is over, and it's Eagle going to Paris.
30 seconds could be the decider between a one-way trip to Paris or a one-way trip back to Finland. Unfortunately for Team Gigantti, that's not where we're holding these finals. Hardest comes in with the Graviton Surge ready to go. 20 seconds on the clock. He throws it in early. Davin's being locked up as well as RCK, unable to eat his hip, will get a kill, and Leaf and Hip are running wild. Ripper being stalled on the back line. He's isolated by himself as Shadow, trying to get himself to safety and away from the damage. 10 seconds remaining for Eagle.
They've got to do something, Gigantti. 6 seconds on the clock to get in and go for this final push. I don't know if they'll be able to get there in time, Tridd.
They're looking for a stall. Master comes in from above. He's immediately eliminated, but he did trigger the overtime. Someone needs to get in position. They're spending RCK. He touches, but he won't stay alive for too long. The self-destruct looking to buy some more time as Eagle Gaming are in control. Overtime is burning down. A panic grab with no touch for Team Gigantti. They'll have to settle for the economy revenge. But Eagle Gaming, you're packing your flights. You're going home to Paris along with a chance at the Overwatch Season 2 Championship.
Not even far for those guys to go, given they're already based in Paris. But again, started today, we never would have put this down a result. No one had these guys as the ones to walk away the favourites, but they've only gone and done it, Tridd. Angry Titans versus Eagle Gaming. That's not a final I ever would have predicted or envisaged at the start of this season.
I used to be okay, but now I am FRA. Eagle Gaming showing up against Team Gigantti. I still love the team, but you have to commend Eagle Gaming for being able to come out here against what we perceived as something that was set in stone, breaking expectations, breaking Gigantti, and now they got a shot. The last speed bump on the road is Angry Titans, who they will face at the Overwatch World Cup group stage in Paris when we have our finals.
It goes to show as well how much a patch can change things as well. There hasn't been any huge shaking changes. Yes, the Hanzo change came through, but they're playing exactly the same sort of stuff we saw being played before on 1.24. Last time round, the result was very different. It went Gigantti's way. This time round, though, the story, you can see the increase in level of play as well. We weren't speaking about all of these players on Eagle Gaming before. Super Pollitt wasn't a name that we were having as a top Ryan player. This time round, absolutely is up there with everyone else. Really well played by Eagle. Look forward to seeing them in the finals.
Okay, so that's it for what we consider the regular season and the first half of the playoffs from myself and Dez. We're going to take it over to our analyst desk to close out the show.